What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to From the Top Rope with Andrew Crawford. I'm your boy Andrew Crawford, not the GOAT, but I look like a GOAT. Close enough, am I right? I think I'm right. And today on the channel I will be doing a His Case for GOAT on the Celtic Warrior Sheamus, as it is rumored that he will be leaving WWE. And from everything I can tell, it's true. I'm sad. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I love Sheamus. That this hurts me so bad. It sucks. But 20 years in the WWE, a pretty successful career. I would understand whatever he did. If he wanted to go to AEW, retire with Cesaro, who he became very good friends with. If he wanted to go to TNA and still have those chances to come to NXT and do his thing. If he wanted to just call it a career, whatever he wanted to do, wholeheartedly like it. Sheamus, he's earned that right. 20 years in the business is never an easy feat. So let's talk about him a little bit. So we're gonna kick off with longevity. 19 years. He started out in FCW, which was NXT before NXT, their developmental brand, in 07. And he's been under a WWE contract of some sort since, and it is 2026. That is 19 years in WWE, probably a few years on the indies before that. And I don't even know if he's gonna retire. I just know that Sheamus has built up a case in the WWE to be called a GOAT, and that's what we're gonna be hitting on. But anyways, 19 years is already impressive because, you're taking those brutal bumps every week. You're doing what you're doing on a nightly, sometimes basis with, house shows and tours and stuff. And even when you're not, you're still taking some physical damage. You're still working hard. And then you add Sheamus' style of in-ring work to it, which is that Japan, UK style, strong style, which is just, it looks like these guys are really beating the crap out of each other because they're really just beating the crap out of each other. That's what that strong style wrestling is, and I've always appreciated it. 19 years sounds even more unfathomable, and it is. So Sheamus has the longevity for sure. Then you take into account, let's look at his in-ring ability. Sheamus is one of the most reliable professional wrestlers of all time. And when I say reliable, I mean you could rely on him to go out there with a broomstick, and it was probably going to be a minimum 2.5-star match. That's how talented Sheamus is. He has that. It's not to HBK's level, and it's not to an AJ Styles level. It's not to a Ric Flair level. It's not to an Edge level where he can make everyone he's in the ring with look good. But, let's say those guys are S tier at that. Sheamus is probably A tier at that. Being able to just get in the ring with anyone, make them look decent at worst. Sheamus had that ability like no one's business, and that's a huge part of in-ring. But then you take into account his moveset. A big, over 6 foot tall, 280-pound Irishman who could kick your head off your shoulders. Man, Sheamus was that guy. His moveset was awesome. The way he moved in the ring was awesome. He was moving around a WWE ring like a 10-year vet in such a quick time. They gave him the WWE title 2 months in. That's how good he was that early. And, I'm not even glazing Sheamus. I'm just pointing out facts that people don't want to look at because he's a more modern dude. And if you disagree, you're part of the problem. Sheamus was great. His power, his agility for him to be that big was impressive. His, like I said, moveset from White Noise and the rolling senton thing he did, the Rolling Fireman's Carry senton that he did that was so impressive. Um, and people were just like, oh, he's kind of cooking right now. That he developed later on, or the bro kick, or the high cross, or the Irish curse backbreaker that he'd already had implanted into his moveset off rip. The 10 beats of the, I don't even know how to pronounce it, so I'm just going to say the 10 beats, the clotheslines, the knees, everything he did looked like it hurt. I loved it. So in ring, check. Mic work, underrated, but not so underrated that you'd like ever compare him to a Miz, Punk, Rock, Cena, Jericho. You may not even compare him to the guys a little lower than that. He is a perfectly adequate talker, though. He may not be the best, but he could talk a little bit. Entrance, charisma, aura. Now, when he had written in my face, that was one of the funnest entrances ever. The music, the way he would come out with this Irish culture pride that is unmatched. I've never seen someone so proud of their country the way Sheamus is proud to be Irish, outside of like the rednecks that I'm surrounded by in southeast Kentucky. I said what I said, bite me. But Sheamus is one of the proudest Irishmen I've ever seen, and his entrance always found a way to embody that, and I love it. So his entrance was always fun. He had charisma. Like, he always got a good pop. It was never this elite pop, and it was never this, like, you think you know me, or the Glass Shatter, or the Randy Orton, or the Punk, or the Roman, or Cena. But he's always gotten a really good pop, and I've never, like, even when he was getting a little over-pushed in 2015 in the Roman feud, he was still getting some good pops. The Bar got great pops, his tag team with Cesaro, we'll talk about then. Yeah, Sheamus had, as you can tell right now, he's got all the tools, but we ain't done talking about him. Let's move on to the one I want to spend a lot of time on, because I didn't realize how decorated Sheamus' career was until I looked at it. Royal Rumble winner, 2012. King of the Ring winner, 2011. Literally a year before he won the Rumble, they were like, we're going to give him King of the Ring too. No, it was the 2010 King of the Ring, because he was King of the Ring going through the year of 2011. 2015, Money in the Bank. Now, 2 months in, he beats John Cena in a tables match for the WWE Championship at a time when it was Super Cena. Cena wins. You can't do anything about it. Sheamus won. Not only that, Sheamus won the WWE title in that era with Cena heavily in the main event scene twice. In 2012, his Royal Rumble guaranteed WrestleMania match, he beat Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds for the world title. 3 times. In 2015, he cashed in Money in the Bank on Roman Reigns, 4-time world champion. 3-time U.S. champion, beating Daniel Bryan. I don't remember who he was beaten the second time, but the third time, he beat Matt Riddle. And a 5-time tag team champion, all of them with Cesaro, fun fact. I bet you didn't know that. They really didn't just set the bar, they were the bar. I had to make the joke. They've always been, Sheamus has always killed it, but he's got a loaded career that stacks up with some of the best, because some of the best wrestlers ever don't have that many world title reigns. Yeah, Edge has 11, Cena's got 17, I think The Rock's got 10. But Jericho only has 6. Undertaker only has 7. Jeff Hardy, one of the most beloved pro wrestlers and in a lot of GOAT debates, only has 3 in the WWE. Sheamus has 4. And the tag team resume is phenomenal. The mid-card resume, the only thing he's missing is the Intercontinental title. Sheamus has almost everything you could want in a pro wrestler, that you would die on the hill, this is the greatest of all time, and it's not a debate. Not a debate part, but this is the greatest of all time. And after researching for this video, I can safely say, if someone looked at me and said, I think Sheamus is the GOAT, I don't know that I'd argue with them. Not because they're right, but because after looking at his career, he's got a valid take and a valid argument. So if this 19-year career is done, Sheamus can sit back and say, I made an impact on the business, I had a great career, achieved some great things, and I think I've got an argument for the GOAT. He does. I really, after researching for this video, watching some of Sheamus's best matches, listening to some of his promos, watching his entrance, listening for the pops, watching the title wins, looking at the accolades on my phone right now, because I had to have them pulled up to be 100% sure, Sheamus has that argument to be called greatest of all time. And that is an argument not a lot of wrestlers probably do get put into. But Sheamus has every tool you want to an elite degree outside of talking. And that's amazing. Like, Sheamus definitely has earned his spot, but let's talk about that in the conclusion. In conclusion, yes, Sheamus deserves to be be mentioned in the GOAT debate. And I'm not saying this because he's leaving. I'm not saying this because maybe he's retiring. I'm saying it because I've looked at it. I've studied it. And if you wanted to look at me and tell me I think Sheamus is the greatest WWE superstar in history, I ain't gonna disagree. Not because you're right, but because he's got the take. He's got the argument. And that's what I look for when I talk about professional wrestling. Do they have the argument? And Sheamus has an argument. I think it would be hard to put him over Mount Rushmore status, because my Mount Rushmore of Edge, Taker, Cena, and Austin are pretty deadlocked. But, man, the argument's there, dog. The argument is there. And that's the video. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Tell me about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to share it with people you know, people you don't know. If you see a random dude in an NWO shirt, an Austin 316 shirt, and you're like, hey, this guy might like wrestling, run up to him with your phone and be like, hey, check this dude out on YouTube. Don't actually do that. You might get punched. Maybe worse, depending on where you're at. But no. Thank you for watching. And like I said, 300 subscribers by SummerSlam weekend, August 1st and 2nd. That's 120. I will do a shoey with the shoes I use to work out in. I'm not drinking actual alcohol out of the shoe. I will find a substitution. But I will do a shoey on my YouTube channel for the whole world to see, and people will think I'm an idiot. Not that they already don't. But anyways, unlike John Cena, I can see you, and I will see you very soon.